Hey y'all, it's Ricky T, coming to you from the Taylor Plantation here in not so beautiful Beach Grove today. It's getting cold, the winds are blowing, it's that past mid-October, and it's kind of sad because before long it's going to be too cold to come out here outside and smoke my cigars. I'm getting a little depressed about that, but I do love the fall weather. I'm going to do it as long as I can. Today I want to talk to you about Donald Trump and his Syria, withdrawing troops from Syria policy. I want to talk to you about that for a minute. But before I do, just so you know, right here, I'm about to lose the ash. Let me get rid of that ash. There we go. Been smoking on it for a little while. I got an Onyx Nightfall. Onyx Nightfall. The Onyx Reserve has been a cigar that I've been smoking for many years, over a decade. I love it. It's a great cigar. It's probably my favorite underrated, I call it kind of my secret weapon cigar. It's probably the best cigar that most people have never heard of that I smoke. This is a Nightfall. I had not heard of the Nightfall. It must be a newer variety. I did get a 5-pack of these. This is my second one. Just real quickly, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. It's different than the Reserve. The Reserve, which I love so much, it's right down my alley as far as what I like in a cigar. The Reserve has your coffee, milk chocolate as your two prominent flavor profiles, with a little black pepper on the tongue, which I love. And then sometimes you get little notes of vanilla or caramel. Perfect flavor profile for me. I love it. This one is different. This one is giving me a lot of woodiness. I'm getting like a bit of a cedar on the inhale with some charred oak on the exhale. I'm getting some earthiness. And then I'm actually, oddly enough, getting a little spice, like a cinnamon. I'm not real good at picking out the subtle flavors. I can pretty easily pick out the major main flavors, but some of the subtle flavors, sometimes my palate doesn't pick those up. On this one, it is picking up some cinnamon. Giving me some decent smoke output. It's a little bit tight. Maybe it hasn't been in the humidor long enough. I've only had these for a couple of weeks. I like the Reserve better. This is a good one. If you get a deal on it, try it. But if you're going to get an Onyx, get the Reserve. It's right down my flavor profile alley. I love it. Great cigar. So I thought I'd let y'all know what I'm smoking today. The wife and I have been in Kentucky the last couple of days doing the Bourbon Trail thing. Obviously being in a hotel and everything, I haven't smoked a cigar in like 3 days. So I thought I'd come out and do this and talk to you for a minute. So y'all know that generally speaking, I've been a Trump supporter. Most of his policies I agree with for the most part. However, since I am a free-thinking constitutional conservative who has a brain in my head and I can think for myself, sometimes I don't agree with him, sometimes I disagree. You don't have to always agree with somebody, right? That's the beauty of it. You're not gonna agree or disagree with anybody every single time. So, as it relates to the Syria policy and withdrawing all of our troops, I disagree. I think from a big picture perspective, there's a lot of his philosophy that I agree with on a big picture perspective. I think every situation is a little different. Everything is situational, and in this situation, he could have done it a little bit differently and still got to where he wanted to be and done what he wanted to do, but I don't think he did it in the right way. Now, although Trump likes to brag about the fact that he inherited like a really weak military, and he has built the military up and it's stronger than ever before, it has the best equipment than it's ever had ever, he brags about that all the time. It's become fairly obvious that he does not like war. He does not want to have war, and he's much more of a money guy. Let's put economic sanctions on him. Now, philosophically, from the big picture, I totally agree with that. In all things in life, I look at all the possible solutions, all the possibilities, and you start with the least evasive and work your way up. And war is at the top. It's the most evasive thing you can do, right? So there's a time and a place for war, but you don't want to do it unless you absolutely have to. Now, just because you have troops there, that doesn't mean you're in war. And that's where I think Trump made a mistake. So, first of all, we've got our friend Israel in the Middle East. Pretty much all the rest of the Middle East hates them, wants to destroy them. We are their biggest friend, we are their biggest protector, and we help them all the time. There are other factions in the Middle East that are friendly to the United States, in this case, the Kurdish people. The Kurds actually were hugely helpful to the United States in our fight against ISIS. They really were the biggest part of us being able to wipe out ISIS. They know the territory, they know the land, they know the people, they can get around, etc. They were really helpful, and we kind of owed it to them to kind of protect them. And then as soon as Trump withdrew, Turkey invaded. So what I would have done, and where I disagree with him, is I see no problem with having somewhere in the ballpark of 1,000 troops in that general area, in the Turkey, Syria area, just as peacekeeping or just to have a presence. As you noticed, Turkey did not attack until we left. If we would have stayed, most likely I say it's a 99% chance they would never have attacked the Kurds as long as we had a presence. So just our very presence in the area is keeping these rogue nations, keeping them held back. So from my perspective, you keep 500 to 1,000 troops in the general area for peacekeeping, for just to have the threat in case something does happen. Boom, we're right there. We can react quickly, and then if somebody does do something, not only will they get a big dose of American ass kicking, because we will go in and kick their ass quickly if they're stupid enough to do something, but then on the back end, we do what Trump did, and we do the economic sanctions. So you got your first layer of action, and that is, if they attack, we're there, we kick their ass, we show them, USA, we're still the boss, don't mess with anybody who's our friend when we're in the area. But if you are stupid enough to do it, after we get done with the butt kicking, we're going to penalize you financially. That's how I would have done it. Okay, so Trump's only mistake really was bringing him home. If he would have left him there, I don't think any of this stuff would have happened. Again, if it did, we could have stopped it quickly and then do the sanctions. Okay, pretty simple. That's it. I'm going to leave it at that. Got Ricky T foreign policy for you. I'm not running for president, but if I was, that's what I would have done. Pretty simple. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? What would you have done? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Okay, the windows are blowing and my camera's starting to shake, so I'm getting out of here. Until next time, y'all know I love you. And as always, God bless America. That's Abby.